a lot of these subject to deals, they actually transfer ownership. And if they transfer ownership and the banks find out about it, and people go, how are they going to find out? They're monitoring the records. You you file something in the deed records, they have notifications now. You and I could subscribe for that. But they have these subscription services that let them know if there's been any type of filing on the property. One of the better things to do is an executory contract, like a contract for deed. So those do not have to be filed. They're a private contract. Like with trusts do not have to be filed in the public record. We just
Right.
have the deed showing that the trust owns the property, but no one knows who the trust beneficiary is.
Welcome to the Texas Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview Texas real estate professionals from active real estate investors, lenders, property managers, and many others that provide goods and services into the real estate investing industry in the great state of Texas. Our goal is simple: to share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level, and to meet the pros that can help you get there. Texas Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and entrepreneurs build the business they need to live the life that they've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest is a general counsel, corporate strategist, herself based in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro, and works often with real estate investors. Please welcome attorney Nachael. Attorney Nachael, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon, everyone.
It's
How are you
great.
doing?
It's great to have you on here. We were talking before hopping on really about everything that you're involved in. Also, my background, having lived in DFW and Denton. And this is going to be an interesting episode for me because I've had people who do real estate syndication that are attorneys on this show that represent people in certain issues like tenant evictions, but I haven't had a general counsel corporate strategist on the show here. Break this down for our audience, really what the scope of work is for general counsel in real estate.
Okay, what you have with a general counsel is they're there from start to finish. A lot of times people will just want you to dock up the transaction. They have an idea they have their term sheet. That's all they're concerned about, is if you can get the terms. I like to look at things in a different manner. It's like, how do we structure the deal to maximize the return on our investment? How do we structure the deal to mitigate liability, both in case something goes wrong with the deal itself or if something goes wrong after we've closed the deal? And we also want to mitigate taxes. So I set up a lot of trust. The larger companies have real estate investment trust where they're looking for small, other investors to come in with them. Bird dog agreements, different types of strategies to get what they want in the long run. So I don't just do documents.
It's interesting. You mentioned several different niches and then niches within niches, set the correct structure, tax strategy, and then also optimizing the deal itself. I would imagine this is pretty uncommon to be involved in all of this and how your clients are able to get real value from working with you. I have a question, maybe a granular question about the tax strategy component of it. Maybe my level of ignorance or my own 1,000-foot view, when I think about the real estate attorney space, I don't immediately jump to, tax strategy. Is that common for real estate attorneys to be involved with tax strategy, or is this a niche within a niche, so to speak?
It depends on your market. Now, I'll be honest with you. Most people do not even know that the president of BlackRock is an attorney. They're so used to attorneys just doing the documents. Oh, I paid for this course. It came with the documents. I'm just using a piece of paper. But those pieces of paper have rules, they have strategies, and the way you mitigate different tax consequences. For example, transfer taxes. We may decide to do an asset purchase instead of
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Instead of a corporate structure, because a lot of people are holding the properties in the LLC or a corporate structure. And so we may decide to either just go ahead and buy the corporation. So you're not getting a transfer of the property. We're transferring the shares and the stocks. Or we could decide that there's too much liability associated with the corporation itself, and we'll just buy the assets from the corporation. And so
Okay.
then,
So two different deal structures we're talking about here. We're talking about, buying and exiting businesses, and then we're also talking about buying deals that they may have.
correct.
Another granular question I've got for you. I'm going to have some interesting questions because you're the first person that I've talked to that's in this niche. Right now, there's, I would say, a push across the country for what I colloquially call like flex use commercial. And it seems to be attractive for a number of reasons. You'll have maybe shops, restaurants, high end on the bottom floor, and then commercial residential apartments. And it may be in a community, but it may also be mixed in with entertainment and a larger area, really a subdivision, if you will, but geared more towards high end and apartments. This is an interesting asset class because it requires, in many times, syndication. It requires large pockets, for lack of a better word. But I also think that there's high leverage there, high leverage, high risk. So I imagine the folks that are involved in these types of transactions are going to be folks like yourself who have the ability to both negotiate, understand the real estate deal itself, real estate background, legal background. So you're more adept at dealing with this than, say, an investor who may strategically be outmatched and outgunned when structuring these types of deals.
Well, it's interesting what you're talking about. The concept of these mixed-use developments is actually started in the DFW area with a concept called blue zones. Now, blue zones are areas that are designed to mitigate environmental impact. The whole sales feature is work, live, thrive, and reduce your carbon imprint on the society. So you do have it's a public-private partnership. Those entities that you see really in that space are partnering with the local government, sometimes the county government. But that's an interesting thing that most small investors may not be privy to, is the role that government plays in the real estate game. Getting variances, getting grandfathered in, those are very, very local specific areas. And a lot of investors I see are coming in, small investors are coming in with a course. And the courses are not telling them how the big boys play it. It's just, okay, this is an easy way for you to be a passive investor. Okay, one thing about passive investors, you get taxed more by the IRS.
Yeah.
You have to actually be an active investor. You have to go out, look for deals, manage the property. There's a variety of ways you can structure it. As I said, there's a variety of ways where you can structure it so that you mitigate your tax liability. Rather than sitting up there going, oh, this is a passive income, I'm paying a lot more. I'm at a higher tax bracket because it's passive. And these are for the small investors. I'm just saying that a lot of times they don't sit down and talk with an attorney. They just focus on, I took a course. I
Right.
paid, a couple $1,000s. And one of my pet peeves are the courses that say things like subject to. Like, I need property, so I'm going to buy subject to. Most of the courses do not tell you to look at the deed of trust that's currently on the property and see if it has a due on sale clause. Because all of a sudden I have these clients that are going, wait a minute, I bought this property subject
Yeah.
to, and I'm sitting up here, I paid this guy, and he didn't pay the bank. He didn't pay the bank, and now they're foreclosing. What do I do? How to get my money back? Well, you took the risk,
You
because
did.
subject to means you've transferred the.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
A lot of these subject to deals, they actually transfer ownership. And if they transfer ownership and the banks find out about it, and people go, how are they going to find out? They're monitoring the records. You you file something in the deed records, they have notifications now. You and I could subscribe for that. But they have these subscription services that let them know if there's been any type of filing on the property. One of the better things to do is an executory contract, like a contract for deed. So those do not have to be filed. They're a private contract. Like with trusts do not have to be filed in the public record. We just
Right.
have the deed showing that the trust owns the property, but no one knows who the trust beneficiary is. They may know who the nominal trustee is, but that's where lawyers come in. They serve as a nominal trustee. So there are a lot of different tax strategies out there. I'm saying tax strategies, but they're liability strategies, both for, okay, you own an apartment complex. It could be a quadruplex, but if someone slips and falls, you don't want to be sued. You just want your insurance to handle it. But if they see you have really deep pockets, you have other assets, they can pierce the corporate veil. LLCs are um, notoriously not the best vehicle if you have liability concerns.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when they sit up there and say, hey, is this a separate entity, or this is just your, what we call an alter ego? It's just me. It's really just me. I'm just using this LLC's name, but I'm doing everything myself. So what I do is I deal with bigger boys who do have multiple assets, multiple LLCs, but we have a holding company that's set up so that they can't reach us, and the holding company is held in trust. So we're doing layer upon layer upon layer. And that's where the smaller investor sometimes, you know,
Stumble.
doesn't get to take advantage. They are just like, oh, well, why'd I have to do all that? I'm just, assigning contracts to somebody else. Okay, that's fine. But there still could be some liability.
There definitely can be. I've been involved before I was agent in this space exactly, assigning contracts, and you mentioned subject to, and learning along the way that there's legal landmines everywhere, and that the whole idea of creative real estate is basically using legal tools to eliminate the initial burden of financially being able to come up with the money for the property, but long term you're increasing the legal burden. And as someone who was unlicensed in this space, it was a lot of learning on the fly. Then when you get licensed, I went to Champion School in Fort Worth, They basically drill into your head that this whole wholesale thing, and I don't want to speak for everybody, but in a lot of ways, this whole wholesale thing, creative finance, if anyone comes to you with a creative deal, they're subject to basically run. And I was thinking, oh no, that was me. So I have both perspectives on it. But to your point, it's way smarter for anyone starting out to proceed with lots of caution when you're going about anything creative in the real estate space, because it's already litigious. If you add that element into it, you're really potentially uh, not aware of all the dangers that could unfold. I do want to pivot here a little bit and ask you about the deals that you look at with your partners. And you don't have to mention specific deals, but is there an asset class in particular that larger investors are maybe more privy towards nowadays? We talked about flex use commercial. I know that there's a lot of people that are looking at acquisitions across so many different asset classes in and tangent to the real estate space. But what are you seeing out there?
I'm seeing a lot of focus on multifamily, because there are a lot of distressed multifamilies right now. And there are even distressed specialty hotels and motels that can be easily converted for short-term to long-term housing with the assistance of the government. People do not understand how many foreclosures are occurring currently. Like, for example, last Dallas and Texas in general, we do foreclosures on the first Tuesday of every month.
Super Tuesday.
Dallas, yeah, Dallas had 900 foreclosures, mortgage foreclosures just this last month. Tax foreclosures, about 200. So people see a real opportunity in coming in and buying these distressed properties, and that's great. But, if you don't have a partner on the public side, the public has lists and lists and lists. And people think, oh my goodness, I'd never do Section 8. But Section 8 has gotten great now because of the prior administration's push to get away from, you know, poverty pockets. They are encouraging um, subsidized housing throughout the neighborhoods. So
Yeah.
if you're sitting up there now and you're able to get 2 and 3 bedroom apartments, the best thing, the best use for those would be Section 8, because you can get approximately in the DFW area, approximately $1,000 a bedroom.
Yep.
So people are looking at things like that. They're looking at assisted living ways to basically have co-living facilities. So either on a larger scale or smaller scale, but that is a new trend because people are not able to maintain private ownership of housing. It's becoming too tedious. Taxes are going up, and if the taxes go up, so do the insurance. So yeah. So people are literally have been in their houses for, 25, 40 years. Suddenly their houses that they bought in the 70s for, $50,000. Now they have a value of $400,000.
You
Now, the
mentioned you mentioned two areas that are I've seen a lot of traction in myself, just from guests on the show and, kind of qualitatively being able to see, okay, there seems to be some swing here. Section 8, I think, for folks who are not in the real estate space, you may get this kind of negative connotation of Section 8. And I don't know exactly what it breaks down to, but it's something like a third of your income has to go toward the housing. So even still, right now, especially you mentioned the way that it's set up in the prior administration, there's a lot of what you would say is nicer Section 8, and you wouldn't immediately look at it and say, okay, that's Section 8 housing, but it is Section 8. It's for Section 8. And so you mentioned, $1,000 in rents. Wouldn't you like to get that and basically have it be guaranteed? So regardless of what happens, you get your check every month. I am seeing a lot of that. I did want to pivot, though, a little bit here and ask you about your journey as an attorney in the real estate space. For folks who may be attorneys and listening, and they may be younger attorneys or they may be scaling in their career, but thinking about, I'd like to get more involved in structuring these deals in corporate real estate and working in strategy. What advice can you give folks based on your journey and how you went about it?
What I think is that a lot of attorneys look at it and say, okay, real estate is covered by the property code, and they stay right there looking at the property code. They don't understand that the family code, there's the banking code, all these things are intertwined. And if you focus in on, I want an attorney that does one thing and one thing well, that's all you will get. Want that one thing done well, when real estate itself has a lot of moving parts. It's contract law. So you have to look at the Uniform Commercial Code because all these things have to be in writing. You have to look at the property code to see exactly what the timing of everything.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Every deal is different. And a lot of people are being foreclosed on right now. A heck of a lot. I just had 900 last month. The banks are planning on foreclosing more and more. So people are looking for housing alternatives. And sometimes you might want to sit up there and say, rather than get foreclosed on, maybe I should take on a tenant. Maybe I should do a contract for deed so that, we can work together. Those are super strategies that the homeowners can take on. But if you're in the business world, sadly enough, I do a lot of partnerships with government. I get referrals from a lot of government entities. And one of the saddest times was during the housing bubble, one of the first housing bubble, what was it, like 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
There was a town, have you heard of Forest Hill? It's right outside of Fort Worth. Small town,
Mm-hmm.
but their congressional rep was like, hey, I have all these people that are about to be foreclosed on. The mayor is like, oh my goodness, all these vacant houses in my city is increasing costs because we're getting transients. We're getting people who are just trying to live in these houses,
Yeah.
vandalism, etc. So there was an incentive to try to get investors to come in and save the houses. But surprisingly enough, these people were told, look, we'll go ahead and give you, $5,000 to $10,000 above what you owe. Because as a homeowner, we could always come in and save the house on behalf of the homeowner. So we structured the deal so that we would give the homeowner, we'd cut two checks, one for the bank so they could reclaim their home, and one for the homeowner.
Hmm.
And out of those 50 some odd people who were about to lose their homes on Tuesday, they
Yeah.
had such a vile taste in their mouths that they said, we're being screwed once. We don't want to be screwed again. And it was heartbreaking for me. But at the same time, as a real estate investor, my bosses are like, we gave them a great opportunity. We said we'd give them cash to move out. If they complete the application, we go ahead and rent to them, let them
Yeah,
rebuild
that
their.
is a once in a lifetime. No one does that. I mean, it's almost like a cardinal sin in a way. I don't want to say this is carte blanche, but if you talk to investors who invest in, single family home distressed real estate properties that are entering foreclosure, if you give folks in this situation an opportunity to kind of get current and stay in the home, the general feedback is, well, they've burned the bank. The bank's got deeper pockets than I do, so they're going to burn me. The better solution is to give them money to leave, maybe relocate, and it's better than losing your home and not receiving anything. So if they were being given an opportunity by a local government to stay in their home and they didn't take it up, what else can you do?
Exactly. But you have to understand that there's fatigue in the housing market, that a lot of sellers especially on the residential side. A lot of, I should say, they think they've been burnt one time too many. They want to hurry up. They've seen too many commercials about, you know, close in 3 days. They don't understand that a real estate investor is going to do their due diligence. They're going to come inside the property. They're going to check. They're going to get at least a broker's appraisal to try to figure
Yeah.
out what this house is really worth. Check the roof and things like that. But after a while, with all of these internet investors, they're just like, "Hey, I'll put it under contract real fast, real quick for you," and then they never close. People are very skeptical. So on that side, I do empathize. But for the real estate investor out there, I still say it's better to be diligent than fast.
I
Much better.
agree, especially right now. It's not, and it's a little better now than it was maybe 6 months ago, but it's not 2021 any longer where people are bidding far over ask and then just flipping it quickly and 90 days and it's another deal in the pipeline. We're in a different market now. I know a lot of flippers right now in DFW specifically who are no longer flippers. They may be pivoting to ADUs or modular or ground up construction, but on small mom and pop investors, it's difficult to make a buck in the fix and flip space. We are coming up on time here, though. Attorney Nachael, where can folks go to reach out to you? Maybe they're in DFW, or maybe they're anywhere and would like your feedback on maybe their journey, deals that they're looking at, or would like maybe some corporate strategy for an entity that they're involved in.
Sure. Um, our website is still under construction. It will be Nachael.com, Nachael.com, COM. As I said, I usually work with a lot of private investors. Unfortunately, I've had some deaths. And so we're dealing with uh, the assets, the trust assets. Again, I help people avoid probate most times. But you can also email me at rnachael at alumni.duke, DUKE. Yes, go Blue Devils. rNichelle at alumni.duke.edu.
Attorney Nachael, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. If you're looking to take your business and your life to the next level, you really need to learn more about the Investor Fuel Mastermind. It's your shortcut to success. To learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other amazing entrepreneurs, 100% financing on your deals, member-only discounts, and so much more, please visit investorfuel.com/Texas. By the way, Investor Fuel is even Texas-based. Also, if you're interested in applying to be a guest on this very show, the Texas Real Estate Pro Show, please visit investorfuel.com/Texas. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app so you never miss another episode. We'll see you on the next show.